What's up, everybody? It is Breaking the Cage, Astrology TV, and I am, I didn't forget who I am. I am Bells or Michelle. As Matt likes to call me, I'm Shaman. I just had my other phone here acting up. Give me just a second while I repost this one out real fast, and we'll get going on this week's energy. And boy, I got a little bit of a treat for you because I'm gonna pull a little bit of tarot cards. Oops, my volume's coming up on this one as I'm trying to share it real fast. Okay, let me throw that out of here and get my incense burning. You guys know I got all my little things, and you might notice that I'm not in my normal seat because I don't know if you can see my cat right here is taking over my seat. It will not give me my seat. He's just like, nope, I'm snoozing and I'm going to stay right here and you're going to tolerate it. And this is Doodle. You guys don't see Doodle very much. Normally, if you ever do see the cat show up, you usually see Neptune. But Doodle is my big daddy Kane. Okay, Doodle's the big daddy Kane. And when he shows up for my readings and won't move, that says a lot right there because he ain't budget. I mean, look, he's like, so he's trying to cleanse energy that's coming in. Let me have a sip of my drink. It can be a very good week. It can be a very powerful week, but this can be a week of mischief, guys. This is for September 24th through the 30th. You have a full moon coming in. It's the second full moon of this month, and it's in Aries. However, I do feel like the eye of the storm is going to take place the day before. And the full moon is on the 29th. So I'm talking about the 28th, when that moon is still in Pisces. And when I was trying to deal with my guides and pick up the energy of what's coming in this week, I more or less asked for a little bit of validation. So I went to the cards, and I'm going to show them to you in a second as I get into everything else that I'm picking up, because I was picking up just mischief. And that reminds me of the energies of that Pisces energy. Pisces is a wonderful, magical energy, but Aries is where the full moon's going to be. But Aries is a beginning point, but it's the full moon. So it's bringing things into light in a birthing spot. And I'm really telling you, this week is dream a little dream, but you better be grounded in that dream because you just might get what you're asking for. And if you don't know what you're asking for, oh, the doozy that you may get. First thing that came out when I asked the cards, this is a heart chakra, but it's the little green dragon, and you see it says tricky. And I was saying I'm feeling mischief. I'm getting it with mysticism, crown. So this is asking you, how much of your third eye, your crown, your higher ascension energy are you in? Because this is full of mischief and magic this week. The cards I pulled are for the whole week before I get into the astrology. It is full of mischief and magic. It is tricky. It does not mean that it's going to be bad. It does not mean that it's going to be good either. It depends on where your vibrational interests are. And I say it that way, not just your vibration, but your vibrational interests. Where are you getting distracted? Where are you being misleaded? What energies are you into? Remember, healing energy in Pisces is supposed to be about healing. It's the universal 12th house. This is why I was saying it's the eye of the storm. Before you enter that new moon, for that, not new moon, that full moon in Aries, a beginning point. But Aries is not good at follow through. And that's what a lot of this is are you going to learn the lesson and upshift up and upgrade up, or are you going to just have it be thrown in your face and actually start again without actually moving anywhere, being in stagnation, being in the same energy? The next thing that came out is from my own personal deck, because I deal with a lot of Hebrew, and I know you guys aren't going to know what any of this means, but I'm showing you it so that I can say that I've showed you it. It is Hebrew. It is Pi. It is oral communication. It is the witness and the eye witness to the situation. It speaks to you about the mouth speaking. It speaks to you about your teeth, your pathways that come through the communication, but it is also the kiss of death. All right. Just like with the story with Jesus, it was sealed with the kiss of death, knowing, when they were ready to sell off Jesus to be, this is who Jesus is, so that you could more or less take him and get rid of him. It was sealed with the kiss of death. This is what I'm saying with this energy. Very mysticism, very magical, but very tricky. No, not everybody is on your side. And this is definitely an eye-open week, and make sure that you are communicating properly. It is the expression of wisdom, but through the inner eye of the heart and bringing it up through the mouth, through the communication. It is open, being open enough to communicate, blowing. It is the breathing and the exhaling of the energy itself. It is the shattering of the energy, or the very edge of the energy. So, like I said, new moons are about bringing not new moons, full moons are about bringing everything up and into light. Aries is explosive, me first energy, but not necessarily a follow through. Prior to that is that Pisces energy. And the next thing that I'm getting is today for tomorrow. Do not put off your shit for today when you always have tomorrow to get to it, because this is not the week to be, but this is not the week to be fucking around, okay? Is the way I'm getting it. You're getting ready to go into eclipse season the very next new moon, if I'm right. And this is, you're setting the example. Even though it's a full moon in Aries, it's still a beginning point coming off of a healing 12th house, eye of the storm. And this is not the time to get caught up in the mischief, but more importantly, what I'm getting is the vacation. Because all day, Spirit has been putting in my head vacations and a specific smell that is coming in with the water smell and the storms that I'm smelling. And when I'm mixing the combination, don't get caught up in the storm. Don't get caught up in the distraction. Don't get caught up in the vacation of thinking you can put off today's shit for tomorrow, because you're going to find yourself 3 steps back. This is not the time for that. Don't get caught in the illusion or the distraction. And the very next thing is, plain and simple, forgetting oneself. Do not forget who you are. This is not the time for this. This is not the time to put your depths of your truth and your knowledge and your inner know-how on the back burner while you're feeling that vacation energy as these storms blow through. Because you do have a G1 storm. I can only see up to 3 days out. And they're showing on the 24th and the 25th, you're seeing geomagnetic storms growing into a G1 and possibly into a G2. I can't see past then yet, but I would not be surprised if you're seeing more. You're seeing solar radiation standing firm at 10%, and you are seeing solar radiation. Solar radiation is standing firm at 10%, along with radio blackouts are at 60 and up. So this is going from an R2 to an R3. And this is the energy, like I said, I can only see for 3 days out, but I expect it to grow. I would not be surprised. Or if you see the Shaman residents take a big boom in energy throughout the week as we approach this full moon, I would not be the slightest bit surprised. So this is where I'm saying this week is dream that little dream, but be grounded in it, because be careful of what you ask for. You just may get it. And if you're not paying attention for what you're asking for, and you're not asking correctly, you may find yourself shocked at what you receive. The full moon again is going to be at Aries on the 29th at 5:55 a.m. So that day before, you're going to be in that Pisces energy, definitely feeling it. And then as you sleep and approach the new morning, at least in Eastern time, That's how it's going to take place. And the reason why I'm also saying this with that Pisces eye of the storm energy is, remember, you have that moon is going to be crossing over Saturn, which is still in retrograde, and it's getting back to 1 degree of Pisces. That's the very beginning point, the very beginning idea, going back to the beginning of, are you setting those rules, walls, and boundaries for healing? It's not gonna, I've checked it all the way through. It will not go back into Aquarius before it comes out of retrograde, but it is getting into 1 and 0 degrees all from here on out until the end of October. And so you're getting into, let's really reevaluate those rules, walls, and boundaries, that structure. And is it set for old, I started to say old premonitions, old perspectives? Or is it something that you're seeing the, what is it? You're seeing the blind spots of, where you're having blind spots in your healing process and your spiritual maturity and your vibrational growth. Because it's going to go over Saturn, then it's going to go over Nessus. Nessus is the curse or the ancestral healing. It is the curse behind the ancestral healing, behind the past life, continuously doing the same things in that 12th house, getting the same lesson 50 million thousand different ways, but not actually spiritually maturing. So this is why I said it's tricky, it's mischief, it's magical, it's Neptune energy, which it will also cross over Neptune. And Neptune is right here, the last little bit of what it has to teach. And this is fantasy smacks you in the face with harsh reality. I would not be surprised either if some of those tropical storms become stronger, because I'm tasting it, I'm feeling it, I'm sensing it, along with what they're giving me of this vacation stuff. So there's a lot of mischief in that air, and misdirection and distraction, asking you, did you really learn? Have you really healed? Have you really passed the test and spiritually matured? Yeah, exactly, Lisa. These storms are trying to make you purge, and in a form that's good and in a form that's bad. Purging is admitting the issue, admitting the problem, coming to, it's no longer in denial. But what you do with the purge is the difference between the growth or the non-growth. Like I always say, I would have a problem for when I first began my path and I was first dealing with grandma line. I really had a problem with, I'm a Leo. I'm a Leo, I'm a Cancer moon, and I'm a Virgo rising. So I'm a detail anal retentive eclipse. Okay. And I would really have a problem with my anger, especially when I noticed I would get mad, like really mad. I would feel the vibration in my bones, in my skin, up my legs, and my fingers go up and down my spine. And I used to really be like, why, when I'm the most pissed off, do I feel the most vibrational? And I was like, does that make me evil? Am I bad? What's that mean? And it took Grim a long time to teach me, no, honey, the reason you're so vibrational when you're pissed off is because you're no longer lying to yourself. You're no longer in denial. You are seeing the depths of the truth and all of its ickiness. But what will you do with it? How will you choose to act? And will you make it teach you and work for you? Or are you just going to lose your head and regret some of what you do? And this is, again, why I'm saying you've got to learn to control that inner emotions, that inner chaos. Be aware of yourself if you're going to harness that true power. You're going to have it go over Nessus, that emotional energy. Pisces energy is, I love Pisces energy. It's mischief, it's magical, it's fun, it's playful, it's hopeful, but it's also naive sometimes. Pisces themselves aren't really as naive as you might think, because they're the creator of that magic. And when we come into Pisces energy, this is also where that sweetheart of a person brings home the stray dog. But this is also the energy of, is that stray dog the same joker who's going to rob you blind while you're passed out, or because you met them at the bar and you're that good person? This is be grounded right now. Keep a weathered eye on this storm and make sure that you're sailing your ship to course, that you're not just letting it willy-nilly go anywhere. Like I said, I love the energies, but you've got to understand the combination of Nessus, Saturn, Neptune, as it goes over that energy of that 12th house, of the blind spot, of the unconsciousness, of the lack of the healing, because that's what Pisces is there for. It's the trickery of, did you learn? Did you heal? Are you coming into that emotional waters of the higher vibration, or are you staying in the lower vibration? And depending on who you are connecting with, because all of this has everything to do with your relationship zone. During this full moon in Aries, that moon is not getting along with the sun. It is not getting along with Pallas, strategic thinking, Athena, the warrior goddess, in the 7th house of your relationship zones. And remember, your relationships are not just your friends, your family, your co-workers. You have a relationship with your job. You have a relationship with your bank. You have a relationship with your food. When you have no money and you have no food and you're starving, you know all about that relationship. When you have no car for transportation, you know all about that relationship. Anything you have a relationship with, the sun and Pallas is in that 7th house of the relationship, illuminating your character in it, illuminating your truth in it, and how you are emotionally, spiritually evolving. This is why I said this is about grounding and staying the course, and not getting a brand new idea, but then not following through with it. It is all going to be brought into light. It's a lot that you aren't seeing that's going to be coming up within the storm of the week. Okay? Let me see. And then as the moon at the end of the week, because like I said, that's the 28th, the 29th is the full moon. And then as we come into that weekend, as we're coming into the weekend, the moon is going to cross over Chiron, Eris, and the North Node. And Eris and the North Node are coming together. That right there is a shit ton. That's a shit storm right there. Chiron's the wounded healer in the 1st house of regaining your power, reclaiming who you are, coming into your character, influencing the way you do it from your mind's action, from the way you perceive the world and the way you let the world perceive you by your actions. And then Eris is like Medusa. I always put her as Medusa. Trouble, toil, strife, and injustice. Where are you still pointing the finger at everybody else because of where you got done ugly? On top of the North Node, going, no, 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 no. We don't point fingers anymore. We look inward. And we mirror our own true selves. Coming over Chiron, the wounded healer. This is forcing you to make changes. If you won't get out of your way, the universe is going to knock you down and put you on that path. And this is why I've been saying for the last couple weeks, the further you are ahead of this, as we approach these eclipses, the better off you're going to be. Because for those who are not awake, those who are not changing, those who are not making these changes, this is going to knock and drag them around hard. And I'm giving you the warnings here. So make sure that you are being forthcoming with yourself, because if you're not being forthcoming with your shadow energy or your mirroring energy, you're still in denial. The only person here you're really harming is you. Because like I said, trouble, toil, strife, injustice, vampire energy, still wanting to suck a hold of this one thing that did you wrong, or this bad area, because it's what it's like going, I really don't want this anymore, my guides. To my guides, I don't want this anymore. I want to release it and give it up. But could you please take it from my cold, dead hand? Because I am incapable of letting it go. That is vampire energy. And this is asking you, are you ready to let it go and actually do what is best for you, instead of looking back in the past and holding on to something that'll never serve you? The moon is going to go through Capricorn, then through Aquarius. As it leaves Capricorn and it leaves that grounded energy and a little bit more cold and methodical energy, is going to move into Aquarius, where it's going to be more of brave and bold and ready to take on. Aquarius is known for like willing to take on City Hall. It is fireworks. Like when you know on the 4th of July, you're going to see fireworks out there, but you don't know what you're going to see. But it's going to be magnificent. It's going to be bold. It's going to be bright. It's going to be, look at me. I'm letting you know I'm all up in here. It's trying new things. It's the water barrel coming up with new ideas. It's going to get aggressively comforting in making you feel, because it's going to cross the Shaman, which is Cardi Claw. It's going to cross that Shaman before it comes into that Pisces energy, making you feel like you've learned something, making you feel like you're stepping into this bright new world and these new ideas, and that's wonderful. But then when it hits that Pisces with the energies that are there, it's going to throw you for that loop, going then into the end of the week where we have the full moon. And what Spirit is telling me is, understand there's been a lot of parasitic energies in our growth, where like I said, that vampire energy, parasitic energies is what still feeds on you, what you allow yourself to feed on, and then it feeds back on you, keeping you from moving forward. It just keeps you in the negative spot. It keeps you in this place of not moving forward, because something is feeding on that energy and keeping you there. This energy is about removing that parasitic energy, that old view, that old idea of where we've let the world teach us that this is acceptable, and that these relationships are acceptable, and that this is what we have to accept from, our consciousness and from our world, our three-dimensional world. And we're coming to realize, no, that's always been about the lies and the matrix and keeping you blinded. No longer holding on to those things that keep us low vibrational. It's like I said, getting rid of that vampire energy, getting rid of that parasitic energy. And we have to acknowledge where these things are as we move forward. Now, as you come into the actual physical body, and we're getting into the blueprint, I always try to explain. I rewrote the blueprint, 3 years ago, and I had it legally approved. And so I replaced the houses, the astrology houses in the body, and the actual 12 signs in the body to the organs and everything else. And depending on where the planetary energies are moving and the conversations that they're having in the body will also address issues that the body will have when it has chakras that are blocked and problems that we are not healing. So as you hear of the word, how like people will say stress will do all kinds of things to the body. This is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the longer picture here of what's being created in the body's blueprint from like these stressful situations that we just overlook. And we don't realize that that's the body's way of communicating with you, the corrections you need to make. All right. Chiron is literally sitting on the tongue. What do you use your tongue for? Your tongue is your taste buds.
This is why right now my tongue is extra heightened and I'm saying I can taste the storm because and my shaman or my medium energy, a lot of times for me, I taste energies. And right now, with it being on the tongue itself, that's the wounded healer. And I'm tasting where things are not being healed. I am tasting the energy. Your tongue is a sense, it senses. It tells you also when it's hot, when it's cold, when you bite your tongue. There's a lot that actually goes on with your tongue, not just communication, because your tongue also has to be able to move in certain ways so that you can communicate. Then it also attaches to your tonsils and everything else and helps you with your flow of energy. I mean, people do choke on their tongue and they cannot breathe. So we are speaking about the importance of your tongue. Not to mention, I said pi was coming in, the communication and the mouth and breathing and exercising its energy along with the pathways that are being created through your teeth, through the mouth, through all of this, and what is being spoken and how it is being given to you. Not to mention, it also speaks to you about the kiss of death. So this has a lot to do about the communication and sensing what is going on, as well as sensing your food. If for any reason you are feeling like something is not tasting right or something is off, trust your intuition right now. There's a reason for that. When we get into that North Node and Eris, which are coming together, we are getting into, it's a part of the back of the neck right here and the skull that allows you to be flexible, allows you to move. It's a part that is the skull, but it's connecting with the shoulders and everything else. So we're literally going over the zeal point. And the zeal point, I've said a million times, is your mouth of God, is your opening to spiritual energy, to higher vibration or lower vibration. And once you have become awake, that zeal point, just like in the movie The Matrix, how they would connect you right there. This is the energy that speaks of being able to get into those higher vibrations or being stuck and trapped in the lower vibrations because you're still connected to the mainframe. You're still connected to the hive mind. And when you're connected to that hive mind, even when you're awake, it opens you up for psychic attack. This is not when you're in your energy of being able to be in control of your power. And it has to do with flexibility, being able to roll with the punches, roll with the energy, and allow it to roll off of you. What is that saying? Rubber and glue or whatever, and it bounces off of me and sticks to you. Those nursery rhymes actually had meanings behind them. There's a lot more behind those nursery rhymes, and they actually spell magic, whether you realize it or not. And this is speaking of being able to be, nobody bothers me, nothing bothers me. And I'll be the first one to admit, with my dreads, I have extra sensitivity to this. There are days I have to come home and take a bath and put my hair in water that is full of sandalwood because I'm extra sensitive and it will shut me down to where it's killing my head. This is the energies we're talking about this week. Opening up to psychic attack, being in control of your high vibration or your low vibration, knowing what you need to do in this. And like I said, a lot of times people will use essential oils in this energy, especially in the back of the ears, which also connects to past life chakras. And then back here in the zeal point, there are certain energies that are cleansing or exercising and energies that will help keep you from feeling that. That's the supernatural highway here. And it's not that I'm making a cross. Your head, your crown, your heart, and your throat. This is a supernatural highway, which makes every bit of sense to what's going on in that zeal point. And whether it's of high vibration or low vibration, when you're holding on to, I coulda, shoulda, woulda, I could have done that. Well, maybe, or what if I had, shoulda, I coulda, that shit will drive you insane. I coulda, shoulda, woulda. This is a supernatural highway of I'm not listening to either. I'm not listening to my crown, and I'm not listening to my heart, and I have a fight going on that leaves my neck stressed out and leaves you open for psychic attack. This is why I'm saying certain people will get into their oils and so forth, or burn their incense. But if they're having oils, like I sell plenty of them, like psychic sponge and stuff, or certain people, like for me personally, I said sandalwood. Like I will take a bath in some sandalwood, or I will just put sandalwood or dragon's blood on the back of my neck. Some people it's citrus. Each person's a little different to what it works for. But if you know one that helps you with releasing that tension or releasing that headache, that tension headache that you get, this would be the week to have that in your bag, okay, to help you out. Now you get into Jupiter. Jupiter is the higher energy. Everything that it touches, it manifests. It's abundance, and it's literally on your vocal cords. So what shit are you talking this week? Literally. Are you speaking your mind, but without any true grounded idea? Or are you, in your power, calm, collected, and viewing and speaking exactly the truth? Or are you emotionally inclined to just run off the mouth? Because this is the vocal cords, and it also can have everything to do with you getting hoarse in this energy. This is also speaking right back to the kiss of death when I was telling you it's in pi, in the throat chakra itself, and we're dealing with ears, nose, and throat for some of those energies because of those geomagnetic storms and stuff, and radio blackouts and all of that that's coming that you're sensing. So you're talking about your throat chakra, your vocal cords getting choked up, being able to breathe in the high vibration or not. Are you calming down? Are you seeing the bigger picture? Like I said, last week was Othala versus, I can't even remember who he was now, but versus being foolish. Where we're at, this is what we're looking at. You have Uranus, which is on the hyoid muscle, which is and the teeth. It's as well. This is speaking to you about stabilizing the trachea, your swallowing, and your speech. Like I said, your whole throat chakra right now has a ton to do with it. And what is the throat chakra? It is your expression, the expression vibrationally that you are putting out. Whether it's of high vibration or low, it is the expression of you. And if you're in control of you, or if you are in fear and feeling like you just have to bite back and attack, there's so much going on here that is going to truthfully take you right into that eclipse energy. Like I said, there's a lot of tricky energy. As we get into the ribs, you've got Vista, the keys. Again, I've been saying this for a while because you got a lot of ribs. The Vista, the keys to opening all the doors, the keys to the knowledge. She is going over the ribs, going over the blood pH, going over the respiration and how you breathe, and your capability of it, of being healthy in your blood pH. It's all in the blood. This is your DNA upgrading or downgrading, people. That's what I'm explaining to you right now. I'm just taking the very long way around explaining exactly what's happening. You get into Venus, which is still in the heart chakra. And that card is a dragon. What do the dragons do? They hold the keys to all the informational knowledge. They hoard it. And what is the most important thing that we can have? Our spirit, our soul. And it is protecting it in the heart chakra, saying it's tricky energy right now. Don't let some bullshit in. Trust your intuition. You have Venus, which is still in shadow until October, I believe, 19th, which means the heart chakra still is in shadow for its sensitivity. It is in question. It is not giving off the proper love that it normally would with Venus energy, because it's more looking at that vampire syndrome. Where have I been hurt? I don't want that to happen again. But are you going to make the proper changes in your actions? Because, like I said, the heart is a life force energy. This is not something you mess with. Then it's got Pallas, the Athena, the warrior goddess, of strategic thinking, strategic action, strategic creation. That fifth house isn't just the heart, it's creation. And if it's creating from wounds and pain, you're restarting a new cycle. This is put it to rest. Stop holding on and sucking on the energy like the Medusa. And I've got to point fingers and I'm not ready to let it go. Please take this out of my cold, dead hands. We have to move up. We have to release, surrender, let go, see what it was, and make the changes. But understand, all that was being viewed is where it harmed you, not that it still is or can, unless you give it power. That was then. What will you do now? And you also have Lilith, which is at the 29th degree until mid next month of Leo. Maybe not mid next month, but until next month in Leo. Not quite sure. It is a little bit in October. But it is holding strong here at the last degree or last 2 degrees. Like, I ain't coming out of Leo yet. Lilith is your fire. She is just enough ego to remind you what the fuck you were here for. What is your purpose? Will you play these games? In the heart chakra, what are you creating? Are you getting back to the power of you? Are you getting back to the love of you? Are you getting back to the joy of life and being part of it? Or are you still in the low vibrational frequency and thinking and monitoring system of the hive mind? That's what all of this is doing. It's all about that vibrational upgrade in your DNA right now. And where are you on this maturity? When you get into Mercury, which is now in shadow, it is literally on the gallbladder and the bile duct. So literally, yes, I'm starting to talk to you about your communication. Is it in disposal? Literally? Is it literally shitting its way out? There's no better way of putting it. Is it working through your intestines and working its way out of you? The blockages, the holding on to the lower vibrations and the lower ideas that you did not know were lower. Then you're coming into the Sun, Mars, and the South Node and Haumea, which is all on the kidneys and the circulatory. Again, taking you back to the blood pH. And that's your sacral chakra relationship zone. This is who your people, places, and things ultimately are. What are your relationships? Are the relationships truly healthy and healing you? Or are you truly in part of a shit show? And it's time for you to upgrade to a better tribe. Because if you're not in your tribe, then you're truly in a cage. But there is a lot of very powerful energy here. Like I said, magic is tricky. It is not positive. It is not negative. This is understanding the higher ascension and how we get there, how we start working with that. That is about releasing the lower vibration, releasing what you were taught and having to unlearn so you can relearn. That's nothing more than a baby learning to take its steps and to stay up without falling on its ass. That's really all that this is. And give yourself a break. If you fall on your ass, just get back up. That's all. It's hard and we emotionally get involved, but you weren't brought back here to just fall on your ass and give up. You've got this. You've made it this far because you are powerful. You're just learning how to be more of what you already are. Now, we have some trines. Trines are very positive, helpful energies. The only problem with trines are the energy comes with ease a little too well. And then we don't appreciate it because it was too freaking easy. It went together well. It communicated well. And so the acceptance of that wasn't even given necessarily with gratitude. It was just, sweet, yeah, good for me. And it's important to acknowledge the acceptance that is coming in here, the appreciation of the ease going on, because this has a lot to do with understanding that higher or lower vibration. You have Pluto, which is in that 12th house, which will still be there until I think January next year when it starts to come back into, maybe it's February, January of next year when it starts to come back into Aquarius and really make new changes. We've gone backwards right now, and it's still in retrograde. And this is where it returned to from over 200 years of the same shit and the same story. And we're having to make these major changes right now in our society. And our society and the way we honor situations and our political arena. Hold on one second. Hi, mommy. Make sure you turn the water on.
Yeah. I just want you to know when you get noise.
If you want, I'll do it when I'm all done.
Would you rather that?
Yeah, because there's some plates and stuff in there that I didn't wash yet. And I love you, but I don't want you doing anything that might just get you in trouble when I ain't around.
Well, they would be.
Yes, I know, but I'm making sure you don't do something. And I'm not saying it because I'm not trying to create it. So just leave them. I'm almost done with the show.
What I was worried about was the black pan.
I will take care of all of that as soon as I'm done with the show.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You need to sit down and breathe because you look
Yeah.
like you're going to fall down.
Sorry, customer.
She called you guys customer. she says hi, everybody. All right. As we look into this week and we try to appreciate the energies that are given to us, it is Pluto in that 12th house, trying to learn the last bit of the lesson, not the 12th house, Pluto in that 11th house of our honor, our prestige, our reputation, society as we know it, the world stage as we know it, how we operate as a society as we know it. We're going through the last stages of going, did you get the freaking memo? This is where we're making the changes. Okay. And learning how to come back into your own personal power in that outer world instead of taking what the outer world is dishing to you. Now, this is learning how to come back into your energy. It is speaking directly with the sun and with Palace in that 7th house. This is the relationships that you have outside of yourself. People, places, and things, anything you care about, you have a relationship with, your family, your friends, your work environment, your bank, your car. Anything here is going to be illuminated for its relationship to the outer world, and does it satisfy or serve you coming into your power? Then it is also speaking directly to Jupiter about the abundance of if you're in your power or the very lack of your power. Jupiter is extra lucky. It brings luck. It brings abundance, but it only can feed you what you're feeding it. Jupiter in that 2nd house with Uranus is speaking to you about your manifestation, what you're manifesting, your creation of that manifesting off of your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, off of your feeling liberated or the very lack of it. And how is your world changing and helping you come back into your power by the tribe that you are set with, your relationships? How have you set the world outside of you up to work for you? Or are you allowing it to imprison you. This is showing you all the wonderful things about it. But sometimes in order to show you the wonderful things, it's also got to point out where you're just taking advantage of the situation and you're not having any real gratitude here. And this is why it's important. It should be showing you good things this week. If it's not, it's because it's being forced to get you in the right direction. Now, as you come near the end of the week, it's going to be also speaking in a grand trine with Mercury, Pluto, Jupiter, and Mercury. It won't be on the Sun and Palace anymore. It'll be in those mundane tasks, your people, places, and things, your energies that consume you while you're consuming it. What do you do with your day? What do you do with your action? Where are you spending your time? Who has access to you? What has access to you? Is that access that's being provided or given, securing and supporting you, or taking from you? Should be showing you where it's working for you and what to stick with, as well as what really is not and what you need to get the hell up away from. All right. Now, like I said, it is showing you how to accept and move freely with this energy, but you've got to acknowledge what it is. So as you see it, you can know how to interpret it and make it work for you. Now, you have Chiron, which is trying Chiron, Eris, and the North Node. The beginning part of your character. Also, where that full moon's going to be taking place, and then going into right after the full moon, going into the 29th and the 30th, Friday and Saturday. This is going to be all week, but where it's definitely building to that part of the energy for the weekend. Chiron, Eris, North Node, first house, taking responsibility for who you are, for how you view the world, how you choose to perceive the world, and how you're giving the world you to perceive. And if it's getting into still vampire syndrome or higher vibration, it is speaking directly with that fifth house, your creative zone, Venus in shadow, and with Pallas, the Athena, the warrior goddess. But this is a getting along energy. So this is make sure that you're not connecting with people who bitch like you. If you're in that rant and rave, and you're connecting with other people who are ranting and raving and ultimately slowly pulling you down, then that's what you're creating. This is not that we should not complain when something is wrong or we should ignore it. Yes, it needs to be brought to our attention, but we also don't want to become comfortable in a lower vibration where we're just admitting something that's wrong and then vampire syndroming it and staying there, stagnant energy for the full moon as it comes into the explosion. That's being distracted and pulling you away from your purpose. That's being distracted and pulling you away from all of the goodness that's in you. This is about healing, not about harnessing. Okay? And this is saying, where have you learned from the harm? And you're letting it go and you're healing. Like you said, you don't want to hold on to that and continue to grow with that. That's not good, even though it's a trine. It's finding sympathy and truth, but don't harness it. This is Jupiter and Uranus in the second house, which is trining Mercury. That's the sixth house. This is your relationship, not your relationship. This is your mundane tasks. It's your daily activity, your working environment. It is your hygiene. It is your diet. It is Mercury in communication with how you manifest independently, liberated, or manifesting the prison. that, let's face it, all of us have had prisons that we have been part of. That mind thinking that we were part of for so long before we awakened and started learning how to break it and come back into our own hive mind, take control of this thinking, and be responsible for our power. That was a cage. So this is asking us, are we making sure we're breaking that freaking door down? You're not caging me up anymore. I've learned from my communication. I've learned from my groups and my memberships and my committees, your mundane tasks. What are you a part of? What has access to you? What are you giving your time to? It is what your manifestation is about. And is it lifting you into liberation, lifting you into self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, or is it showing you where it's taking it away and you're giving it to someone else? This is definitely a positive energy, but if you're being shown where it doesn't feel positive, it's because we're trying to smack you down and get you on the right path. If not, it's showing you exactly who the tribe is, who to stick with, and who not to. Thank you. Like I said, these are actually positive energies, but I give it to you the bold, blunt truth. Then you have sextiles. Sextiles are coming in, and this means, where did my drink go? This means that the opportunities for change are here. But again, are you acknowledging them? Will you do something with them? Will you put off today for tomorrow? Just like the card said. For about a month now, you have had Jupiter, Neptune, and Pluto talking. Jupiter in the first house, talking about your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, your manifestation, what you have possession over. Speaking directly with Neptune, creating the power to have possession of whatever you want in life, and then bringing it into the outer world. This has been here for a month now, teaching you how to be independent. Or is someone taking that independence because you're giving it to them? It has been there for a month. If you stand in your power, if you stand up and make these changes, you go after your independence, it will start working. I don't know how long this is going to be because I didn't look that far, but it's been here for a month. You have Venus and Juno, which is sextiling Mars, the South Node, and Haumea. Haumea is the collective consciousness on where we've been in our comfort zone, in relationships, and afraid to make those changes. We've kept doing the same kind of relationships. We've kept accepting those same kind of relationships. With Venus here, it's showing you where either it is the same kind of relationship as you've always been ancestrally healing from, or where it truly is something new. But don't harp and look for something that's not there. Don't try to create it to be there. This is standing in that power, creating, because like I said, Aries is a creating energy. It is a beginning energy, but it's in a new moon. So in a form, this is birth and death at the same time. But you must follow through. And this is making sure that the follow through is something new, something healthy, that your relationships support you, not take from you, because, well, that would mean you have to be alone and you have to have independence and you have to try some new things. And for some of us, I'm sorry, but that was part of the problem the whole time. For some of you, it's being knocked down to learn to stand on your own. And some of you know that you're in relationships you shouldn't be in, or that you're allowing things to go that really aren't satisfying, but well, something new is uncomfortable. Tough. I'm sorry. Even for me. I get hit the shit side of the deal too. I mean, to where we all have to grow. This is, like I said, this is for some of you, you know. And you know if you know. You just don't want to admit if you know. You have Lilith is also having a conversation with that Mars energy, that South Node, and Haumea. from the fifth house. So your heart is telling you, do I feel like I'm thriving or do I feel like I'm breaking? Because the idea here is to be thriving in the relationship, to feel like it's rebirthing. But there might have to be changes made. Now, you do have some challenges. Challenges are never comfortable. They're never easy. Pluto is not getting along with Chiron or that North Node or Haumea or Eris. It is comfortable holding on to that vampire syndrome. It is not comfortable standing on its own. So what a lot of this is independence. Dream a little dream. You are not, okay, perfect example. A couple is a wonderful thing. You could be a couple, you and your children, you and your parents, you and your spouse. Couple means more than one, period. But that doesn't mean you are one. You should always be an individual on your own, even when in a couple. No two children. If you gave birth to children, no two children are going to act exactly identical. Even twins don't act identical. They have different spirits, different thinking, different actions. And they will behave differently because they are different people. Remember that. You can be with somebody in a relationship, but don't lose yourself. Forgetting yourself, forgetting oneself, it's part of this week. This is Relationship Zone 101 and having a healthy relationship. Do not lose yourself. This is Pluto, Chiron, and taking action. Pluto, Chiron, South Node, holding on to the old stuff, but then not making any growth, or seeing the old stuff for what it is and making the changes. Because Mars is action in the relationship zone, in the consciousness of moving forward. And are you standing in the consciousness or not? You have Neptune, which is speaking with the sun in Pallas, again in that seventh house. I mean, the sixth house, seventh house, and then the sixth house, because it's also speaking with Mercury. And this is speaking to you about what are you creating? How are you creating? You're being illuminated in what you are strategically creating in these relationships and your daily activity. Your daily activity, what has access to you, has the biggest part on what you are creating, what you are manifesting, and where are you spinning your Neptune? Illusion, delusion, fantasy, reality. Ground and be clear this week. Saturn is back in that first degree of the 12th house. Fantasy, reality, illusion, delusion versus rules, walls, boundaries, making healing, or staying in comfort zones. And it is speaking with Lilith right there at the end of the heart chakra, your fire, your purpose, your heart, and what has access to you, your daily activities. It is saying it's going to be comforting, easier to just go along with the flow than to actually go, no, 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 no. This is independence, standing strong, standing firm. Uranus is not getting along with that fifth house at all, Venus, Juno, or Lilith. Where is your fire? Have you learned your fire is yours and yours alone? And what you choose to create with it is entirely up to the breathing of your energy and your existence and your responsibility and what you will do. Or will you just take the fire somebody gives you and hope it keeps burning? I love you guys. I'll see you next week.